Bad Batch Season 3, Episodes 10 and 11. We are going to spoil them right now in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Everybody dies.
Nice.
So good.
I think you have officially killed the Bad Batch, and we don't even need to watch from here on
I have
out.
a lot of strong opinions on the second one, but a lot of them make sense. I think
That's it,
Bane
yeah.
coming back, they nailed him.
Oh.
I love Cad Bane.
One Hondo. That's like,
shoot, he was so good.
he was the best part, I think, of that episode. I mean,
Oh yeah,
I love the fact too, the little details they give with Cad Bane as he like doesn't care about things, but the one thing he actually said to Emery was asking those kind of questions reveals a lot more about your intentions than you mean, or something. He says something almost.
Asking questions like that, you give away more than you think.
Yeah, but that's why like Cad Bane is like a top tier guy. It's because he can read people better than anyone else. Like he can read Jedi, he can read people's intentions, and that's what makes him so interesting.
Him when he said that is in the, I think it was the first season of Bad Batch, he had said to Hunter that once he figures out one clone, he figured out them all. And just that there was Emery saying that, like him saying, like interacting with her that in that way, kind of felt like a very mild callback. Like maybe he had a suspicion about who she really was.
Yeah, that would make sense. The interesting thing about Cad Bane to me is Cad Bane is almost like a Sherlock Holmes bounty hunter. Like if Sherlock Holmes was a bounty hunter, I would imagine he would be similar to Cad Bane, but obviously Cad Bane has a little bit more flavor to him.
Cowboy flavor.
But
and Toto's a great,
it's
I love
it's
Toto.
a weird dichotomy
Toto's
between
always
those two.
hilarious.
I didn't think Toto would last long with Cad. That's why it's kind of funny to me, but it still kind of works. So
Yeah, I love Toto. He's funny.
it's the levity you need with that serious of a character, I guess. So
Yeah, and Cad needs somebody to just tell what to do. Like he's too proper. Like you said, he looked so sharp. That's who I was talking about when he showed up on the screen. His
fancy
clothes. I'm like, man, he must have just bought a new outfit. Dapper
Yeah,
Dan
he
is
did it big and went
impressed.
shopping.
Yeah, he went shopping. He went to some place or
it
got some
reminded me of, like-
custom tailored shirt, jacket, pant combo.
it looked like he just got back from like a Civil War reenactment. That's what it reminded me of.
I tell
He
you.
went to the Renaissance Fair.
Yeah.
Just one of the cosplayers are gonna. I hope somebody like recreates that look at some point because I'm like,
It was
man,
cool.
I would wear that.
Yeah, I like that they added that in. Hey, we didn't even say Civil War as a flavor, but now Cad Bane was
Civil
Civil War flavored.
The Abe Lincoln.
Cowboy. A Civil War
Like-
flavored cowboy.
What was that?
American Revolution.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Good point. The pro I do want to touch on real quick is I did like how they handled the force sensitive children aspect of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't like what happened to them in the way they
Dustin.
did that, but I meant like
Call
when
you
they
Anakin.
find out
Yeah.
and how others would be like, don't even talk about that. Don't say that because you know what kind of stuff that brings down on us. So they were keeping it real hush hush. And then it made sense and it was realistic for the guy just trying to make a coin, which is really sad in a lot of ways and it's despicable. I mean, that guy deserves to die, in my opinion.
Yes.
Or go to jail or something. But it was realistic in that regard. And the way they handled that, I thought was correct. And it made sense to me, although I did not like it. That's part of what was making me angry was for
it's
these
like,
children.
okay, I like
was
that it made me feel something
Yeah.
for the first time in the show, but them
Exactly.
hitting like a single mom just trying to protect her child,
Mm-hmm.
like infant
Yeah.
child.
That's
hurt.
what I'm
These,
saying.
like,
It was
young kids.
It was
really
sad.
sad.
The baby's like reaching for the mom. I was like, use the force or something.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah.
And tying that in, the baby in that carrier reminded me of Baby Yoda or Grogu.
Oh yeah.
Did you guys get those kind of vibes from that?
Yeah, I was thinking that too, just with like his ears.
Okay.
Just 'cause
His
of the
short
way he
ears.
looked.
Just his ears, and because he was short and stubby,
Right.
and he
fit-
wore like the robe.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
kind of
he
more.
had a little robe, but he also like it's like he knew what was kind of going on, but he didn't know what was going on. Kind of like how we see Grogu in the first early, like he knows something bad is happening, but he isn't really sure what it is because
Yeah.
he doesn't understand.
Yep.
Wow, you guys saw totally different stuff, but that makes perfect sense. I meant more just specifically the carrier that he was in, that they threw like the
that
young
too.
link
Oh.
into the carrier.
The egg.
But that
we
was
really
all
went deep
perfect.
with that one.
That totally
I
made
was
sense
thinking,
too.
Oh yeah. You know
Yeah,
what?
that's so funny. We
Both.
see different things, but same outcome.
It was a parallel though, and then
was.
she even said she's like, this one's a lot younger than I expected, and the other ones were like, like kids, and this one's like practically an infant. You're like
as a fresh child,
right.
And then what was it? Was that who's the main commander guy that was
Scorch?
Yeah, Scorch. They're like, it'd be easier to take care of. Did he say that?
He did.
Yeah, it's like, what do you know about
Agreeable.
what do you know about child rearing? I guess because he had to, stun the other kid. But I'm like, what do you know,
I guess
Scorch?
the infant can't run away.
Yeah, I guess.
The infant can't run away.
I guess, but
He can't move. He just sits there.
Yeah. I guess it's a little
Gaga,
bit easier to manage. Yeah.
Right, and it ties in Baby Yoda and the Mandalorian for the fact that they were trying to get Baby Yoda so that they could do these similar tests. So it's funny the time jump there and how they're still doing it. But I thought that was an interesting parallel. I liked how they did it. But the kids, man, you feel so bad for those kids in this episode. All of them, and that's what was making me angry. I'm like, this is too real in some ways. Like, it's making me mad. They better, at the end of the day, they better just get those kids out of there. That's all I care about now.
Now I think it was driving home the point. Remember at the beginning of the season when she got out, she's like, we got to go back to Tantiss and help rescue who? Like, who are you rescuing?
I think it was the clones, but
the clones,
it's
but it wasn't enough of like, we were like, why would you why is it worth killing everybody in the Bad Batch over a couple of clones? Of course we want to get them, but
my clones.
Yeah.
But this, I think, maybe was supposed to drive home like the mission. Even though does she know that those kids are there?
It didn't seem like she knew.
I don't think she did.
She doesn't.
She
will.
So that's kind of weird though. Like I feel like she should have known.
Yeah.
Right.
That would have given us more weight. Project Necromancer and all that sort of stuff. Maybe Nala Se snuck it to her, but she didn't say anything.
And it's still like, why did you wait so long to show us this? To your point, Hannah and Leah, what you guys were saying, it's like, why are you just now showing us this now when you should have showed us in like season 1 or 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like we're 99% of the way done with the show, guys. Like forever. It's a final season.
And
They wrote it.
They showed him walking into the vault like 4 times.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I don't
I was
care
like
what
those lasers.
The first time I cared, and the second time I was like, okay, and now I don't care. If kids or not, you know what I mean?
Oh, wow. Whoa, dark side coming out again.
Dark side.
Yeah.
She really. We gotta tell Nick he's got a new apprentice. Hunter
Apparently,
has some,
and she is working for the Empire now.
Yeah, she is. I was gonna say, since you did bring up those laser shields, it's feeling like a trope in some ways that you have to have like 8 laser like blast shields in between till you get to the thing. I'm like, do we really need 8 like everywhere?
Yeah, like, what
they
are they
did
gonna
it
do?
in Mandalorian.
Yeah, no, they did
One's
that in
good
the-
enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what Mrs. Manrique said.
Okay.
All the lasers made us
Yeah.
think there were adults in there, like Darth Maul was in there or something.
Yeah, if it was Darth Maul would have gotten through those.
True.
So.
True. He would
I
have
mean, I
timed
can
it
see
better.
why they need 8 or 9 for Darth Maul, but like, come on, they're kids. They're like 4.
Oh, you're
Right.
right. They did do that with Darth Maul and in The Mandalorian too.
Yeah, they did the
Yeah.
Mandalorian. Yeah, because you had to get through like.
I'm like thinking about. I'm
multiple-
like, what do you mean trope? And then I'm thinking about. I'm like, oh wait.
and it all started from
They
the
did do that a
Phantom
couple
Menace.
times.
Yeah.
And the Phantom Menace, they were like in a reactor. It made a lot more sense to have that
Yeah.
much shielding in a
They
reactor.
just got spare
No, that
lasers,
makes-
Dustin.
I know, but that's I'm saying in a way it's uncreative, and they're just putting in place because it's like, oh, people have seen this. Let's just do the same thing without giving it reason.
Comfortable.
Well,
And that's the thing that annoys me in some ways. I'm like, give me a reason behind some of these choices, and I will like it a lot more
I
than
have
just
a
making
thought.
it a trope.
I have a quick thought. I think
Do it.
that's where the money is being funneled that Tarkin is mad about. It's going to the lasers.
It's all the lasers.
It is
He
going
needs
to
all the lasers.
yeah.
Oh
This
my
needs
God.
more lasers.
yeah.
I like seeing
The Empire
Tarkin
loves
too.
its lasers.
They love their lasers.
Yeah.
I like I like seeing Tarkin
Yeah,
kind
we
of
didn't
yell at.
mention that. That's a great point. Tarkin's really
Yeah,
good.
good job, fact checker.
I know.
Tarkin was cool. I mean, I don't like him because I just hate him as like not as a character because he's a good character and that's why I hate him because he's just so like downright evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
100%. I mean, one Hondo.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing. You
Kind of going toe to toe with the Imperial like leaders and Hemlock. Yeah, I'm sorry. He he's just
him
like,
locking everybody up.
he's locking everybody up and he's not backing down. He's like Tarkin. I've spent my money on what I don't want to spend it on. I got this is the Emperor's secret thing.
Well, and they teased a little bit about something he's working on. right? Or
Right, well-
more of his little project?
I think they did in season 2, but not.
Well, they showed the image of
I mean,
something he was looking at. Had we seen that before?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Well,
that little what was that?
Suit or
creature
something?
suit
Oh,
thing?
you're talking about Hemlock.
Oh,
It
Hemlock.
looked like an Iron Man suit almost
Yeah.
type thing. It almost looked like the beefed up version.
I think it was the assassin. Everyone.
Yeah.
I think that was
That's
his
what I was
suit.
thinking it was.
Our guy who failed him once and is now
Okay.
Yeah, like a
running
whole
around
of
blowing
them, maybe?
ships up.
So Angelina asked, do you think the clone assassin is tech?
Absolutely.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely.
I
The
feel
way
like
that he
the-
talks,
Yeah.
it sounds so much like the way Crosshair talks.
It does. That's what we
The
thought.
manner of speaking is too tech and clone like the Bad Batch that like and those skinny legs. Come on, I've been saying it. Like his skinny legs give it away.
You're a demon? No human has
Well-
legs that skinny?
I'll stand by that until I'm proven wrong.
It's just interesting that they put him next to Phee in getting the.
Yeah, that's something we did point out. Yeah.
That was an interesting. Like we're like, oh, are they gonna like they trip up? And then they showed Echo's or his glasses, you know, on
Mhm.
Pabu, and then they kept like nodding, putting
Back
them
to him.
Yeah, back to him in this one. So it's like, oh, this might be a time when they reveal who he is, and maybe
I
there
really
was
do
a.
think it's him. It's so like predictable that it's just so Disney for them to do that. It's
Yeah.
nobody dies.
That's what we
Yeah.
were saying,
I
bro. I'm
think
like, what if he's
yeah.
actually dead though, and it's
Yeah.
just like a Crosshair clone? Like everybody's thinking it's tech, and then he's just dead.
You know what? Disney Star Wars has proved to us that we might think it's somebody cool and something that would actually be interesting, and we
Yeah.
might like seeing, and they're not going to
Dan's
give us
Crosshair
that.
clone idea is too cool for it to happen.
It's too cool for it to happen. I mean,
I wanna see an
I can think
army of
about one other
crosshairs.
character
Crosshair.
that might
So I
have
would
done
be-
that to
mhm.
us.
Mm.
Yeah.
Maroc?
Maroc.
I'm just
I don't
saying, it goes up in smoke.
Up in
Yeah.
smoke.
I'm not
I
bitter
know, they
about
ruined
it.
Maroc. I kind of
Sorry.
thought it would be neat, but no.
Yeah,
He
so
could've
that's
been
why
neat.
Maroc is the
I don't
perfect
want
example.
it to be tech. I
You-
don't want it to be tech. I'll be mad.
Okay.
Be predictable, but I do love tech.
It's so
But I feel like
predictable.
it's so at the end of the season. Like what? Like
Yeah, and then how
what
do
are
you
they gonna
fix
do?
that? How do you fix that? It's the end of the season, and the very last season, all of a sudden, you bring back a character that did die for a pretty good reason, to save his entire squad.
Right.
Mhm.
You
It'd
can't
make
fix
more sense if they did it like it's kind of like he's like the Winter Soldier. If they had teased that it actually was him, and we knew as the audience that's tech early
Yes.
on in season 3.
Yes.
Just the same way that they did with Bucky Barnes. Like
Yeah.
we knew it was
Exactly.
him, but Captain America sure didn't, and that made it really emotional when it came back. But now by the time they do, it's gonna be pointless.
It's gonna feel like a last second reveal that like, oh whoa, it's gonna change
It's
the
gonna
whole
be like,
season.
here's a dessert plate. I wonder what's in here.
Yeah.
Dessert.
Yeah.
And again, maybe too
Dessert
little,
plate,
too
but
late.
the cover is glass.
Yeah.
And
No
that's why,
surprise.
and that's why
Exactly.
like the writing in this show is probably one of the weakest links, because it like if you're going to do a reveal like that, you should be teasing it. They could have done it like you said earlier on, and then they could have really done it in this episode with Phee, like that snapped him out of it for a sec or something like that. Like he lingered.
That's
like
what
he
I
actually,
thought was gonna happen.
I know that's what
Maybe
we were thinking
as he's
too, yeah.
searching her ship, like he looks up and he sees a picture of them two, and then like he pauses for a second and he's like, anyway, and he goes back, or he gets some
Yeah.
data off the drive and it makes him remember, or some
Yeah,
trick.
that would have been so cute.
See,
I'd be kind of okay with that.
Right.
See, I think it would be better if they did that, but being Disney Star Wars, I think it's probably just going to be a clone across.
But they
it.
took like 7 minutes of that episode to see him get onto the ship.
I know.
Get the data, like set up Phee. Oh, she got her knife out. They're gonna fight.
She didn't even do anything.
And she didn't do anything. She just literally walked in. She was yelling at her droid like she yells at the Bad Batch. And then she gets on the ship. She goes up. You go, oh, good job, Phee. You did nothing except got fuel and yelled at your droid, But it was like 6 minutes out of the episode. Wasn't that 11?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, it kind of
Yeah.
made me annoyed. I'm like,
Yeah,
nothing happened.
Like I
took
kind of wanted her
forever.
to have a purpose, and she just walked on a screen and walked off a screen.
Well,
Yeah.
and it was a lot of
Literally.
it was a lot of plot
Yeah.
conveniences for things in episode
So many.
11 that really annoyed me. Was like the way that he like just got all the information. He jumped on this ship. He like sounded the alarm, but nobody noticed, of course, because there was loud music where Phee was for some reason. Plot convenience, and then he flies to Pabu. Sorry, I had to cough. He flies to Pabu and just shuts off like the emergency stuff on like the entire place and planet, and nobody is looking. Again, that irritates me. Like, give a reason. Turn the ship invisible.
It just reminded me, Dustin, of the slicer from the movie that you don't love, that nobody really loves. You don't remember how like disappointing that was? You know what I'm talking about when I say slicer?
I do, but
Wait, you don't even want. I'm not even going to. The worst movie of the sequels.
Oh, The Last Jedi?
Yeah. Yeah.
When did? Oh, that's okay.
Remember how convenient it was? He's like, "What's the or whatever he did?" And he stuck the thing in.
Yeah, you're right. It is slicers.
It's the same kind of convenience. It's just like shut down the stuff, and you're.
That took me way too long to figure out. Well, I'm sorry.
Well, I could have said Last Jedi. And
I've tried blocking it from my mind.
I know.
So I like had to like.
So sometimes when you mention The Last Jedi, like people get
and I throw up.
They're like, "I'm leaving."
Oh man, yes, and that's like some of the stuff in this reminds me plot conveniences of the sequel trilogy. It's like the similar writing of things, and that's what irritates me so much that it just doesn't make any sense. Like the dude was able to do everything without any hiccups whatsoever, and it was so convenient for him. It drives me crazy. I don't know. Yeah. At least give us a reason.
The dialogue between
go there
when he gets up onto the thing and he like looks through the marketplace. He spots, Hunter over there and Omega's with her friend over there. And he's like, I found the target or whatever. And then the other clone guy completely like quotes Hemlock word for word and is like, okay, we're moving in. Remember, like, no mistakes. That whole like dialogue scene between the commander clone guy, the assassin, and then the clone guy again was terrible.
Right.
I don't know if anyone else heard it but me, but I mean the acting there, and I
just think the lines were, like
Bradley
redundant.
does a good job voice acting, but it felt like that wasn't him at all doing any of the lines there. I'm like ooh, I don't know, like that just rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, and to that point, even that like repeating things and stuff like that, it feels like they're just padding the runtime with a lot of stuff. Kind of going back to my point of like the convenience, they showed the guy flying into the same exact spot where Asajj like landed and then did basically nothing with that except for showing him land and then leave. And you're like, well, why did we thought at some point like maybe Hunter was going to find his ship, jump on his ship.
That would have made sense, right?
Yeah, and take a ship.
Because he fell in the water and then, because I mean, literally
right in that same spot.
It's the secret entrance that Asajj went to. And then it's literally
it's a secret.
another secret entrance for this guy.
You think they would have beefed up their security?
Yeah.
You think they would have beefed up their security from like Asajj being able to get in there and then immediately
well,
this
they were
dude.
just planning on leaving, so
I know, but like tell somebody, be like, dude, you guys suck. Like security around here sucks.
Which isn't that why we get annoyed with this? Because like I want to see the Bad Batch like do good, be good, do gooder, like stop doing bad.
Yeah,
like protect somebody. Don't let everybody get blown up and burned. And this, this is Pabu. Like it's paradise. Don't let it die again.
Yeah,
because you guys are incapable of protecting anybody. And then the plan at the end, which we haven't even got to, it just fell off a cliff. I was like, they failed again. Like Crosshair can't hit the broadside of a barn. And
I shoot with this
our friend
hand.
Kirsten says the planet needs more lasers.
More lasers.
That would have stopped them. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Just one laser would help.
The whole entire like island needs like 10 lasers, levels of lasers that they have to go through to get into.
Well, Bismo did say it's not exactly a military base.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They're fishermen and
okay, Bismo.
Yeah,
but the Bad Batch should have some type of like.
You're right.
Like one security camera would change the game.
Or just like a dude looking on the horizon around the island.
Are there any? You say you're a fisherman. It's like kind of dayish. Was it night?
It was like dusk.
It was dusk.
Okay, but people can fish in the evening. That's when you catch the good fish. Surely somebody was out there
on the water.
I don't recognize this dark, menacing ship. Oh, it's flying into the secret cave entrance. That means he's bad.
Well, maybe that's why Hunter jumped into the ocean because he wanted to go fishing.
Probably.
When Hunter got on the gunship and there was just the pilot left and they're like, oh my goodness, the gunship's compromised. Which sounds terrible that I liked the way he handled it, but I did like the way he handled it. He just took out the pilot.
I know.
Like,
that was brutal.
That was different.
That sounds like
didn't have a clear line of sight of any of the engines, so just take out the pilot.
Yeah, so they like hyper make that one realistic, but they can't make hyper like somebody looking on the horizon and seeing a dark, shadowy
that's
ship
above their
fly
pay
in.
cut. They can't do that.
And maybe that's more proof that it's not Crosshair's clone because
He can hit him.
Yeah,
It was Crosshair before he was tortured.
It was so much farther away. Yeah, that's true. It's old Crosshair, so maybe it's more proof that it is Crosshair.
Maybe that's OG Crosshair.
Because new Crosshair's like tracker thing like died after like 12 feet before it hit that ship, you know?
Yeah,
It's
that
like,
was
but the other
so
one shot that like
disappointing.
precise bullet, you know, maybe the trackers are just too heavy. Like the range is like 40
The thing
yards.
With that scene, and this is kind of what I thought up about it, is like we're at square one. And they want us to feel like, oh no, like this sucks. And it doesn't do anything because they just keep going back
Sucks
to
in the
square
wrong
one.
way.
And then I think what they're trying to do though is they're trying to give Crosshair a reason to want to be better and get better at shooting because his little sidekick just got taken and he failed his one job that he was supposed to do. But at this point, it's not weighty anymore.
And again, the Bad Batch was split up, so they weren't able to make the plan together to like donate her. That's what she did at the end of season 2, or was it end of season 2? Remember that? She's like, I'll save everybody. We're trapped again. We suck at what we're doing. It's like there's 4 bad guys and we can't get away. So the only option is for me to turn myself in. They just did that in season 2. And she turns herself in and then they try to kill them all anyway. And it literally did nothing. And here we are again. And then he was like going to torch all the people, or he didn't torch all the people. But
they were going to, yeah.
They were going
if,
to.
if they didn't find her.
He still hinted at
they were
doing
gonna
bad things.
put fire in their homes.
I mean, it's done like every 3rd episode where she like turns herself in and it does nothing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, wait, now it's just plot
Although
convenience.
Bismo makes a good point that all of a sudden, like, he would be able to shoot, but like,
yeah,
they didn't set it up there's no winning with this scene because they didn't set it up that he had even tried, so that we couldn't say like, okay, he made a lucky shot with the small practice that he had because, you know, beginner's luck. But then they didn't set it up that, you know, if he didn't make it, why would he care? So now, you know, there's no winning.
Yeah, it's just silly writing in some ways. They were trying to add weight to that scene, and like against all the Bad Batches, you know, try as they might, they still can't save Omega. So it was supposed to just build up the fact that, oh no, we're losing Omega again.
But Omega's
we just got her back like 4 episodes ago, or like 6 episodes ago, 7.
But I would have rather them like actually found her and like beat up Crosshair and taken her, like, you know what I'm saying, versus her again just like sacrificing herself.
Yeah, that's suspicious. That's what I said. I was like, what if she like ran around and made sure like someone just kind of caught her glimpse and then they chased her and then they thought that they catched her all by themselves. But like she just walked up and did the heroic thing that everyone would expect. So of course they must have a plan.
Yeah, exactly. And the one tracker, we're like, oh, she's probably got a second tracker in her back pocket, but because the one triggered it, you know, we're like, and she probably still does. That's probably how they're going to get her. Because she's like, oh, she's got one in her shoe.
Yeah, it's Omega.
You know?
Being Omega, the best.
Yeah. I mean, it just felt like a thing that I know people in the chat are saying otherwise, but
yeah.
But there was like heavy moments when they shot the pilot and when Wrecker almost died.
Yeah. So, but I was going to say that was actually a pro, which the fact checker, I don't know if you want to say, I don't want to take your thunder on this one because you pointed this out when we were watching it.
Go ahead.
Okay. When Wrecker almost blew up, what they kind of did.
That was so scary.
But the best part,
you were scared.
The best part about this entire episode was the fact that Wrecker saved Gonk.
He did. He saved the Gonk droid.
He saved Gonky, man.
Yes, thank
Can't go wrong with
Lord.
Gonky.
Thank the Lord Gonky was saved,
Yeah,
man.
I mean, I feel bad that Wrecker was greatly injured. It was a big explosion, and Icy's wondering what you guys think about the ship.
At least it makes sense though, because he's not indestructible.
Yeah, good point. I mean, it was a big explosion.
It's pretty close, but not
Gonk
indestructible.
Survived.
Yeah,
That
Gonk
was a
survived.
great
That's the
moment.
thing I care about.
Yeah.
I think
I'll clip that.
the most.
Yeah, Gonky survived.
Gonky survived. Yeah. And I like that they gave Gonky a little bit of personality in this. If you're talking about character
Yeah, he was
development,
talking back.
He was
they
talking
gave some
trash.
character
being
development. I
bold.
like that.
He's like, there's too much weight on the ship. And Gonky clearly was like, well, let's get rid of you, Wrecker. We'll save like 400 pounds or 500 or 1,000.
He did say that. I was like, what?
Yeah, but he didn't have his
talking.
helmet on. I think if he had his helmet on, he would have been fine.
Oh,
The only reason he got
Right.
knocked out is because he didn't have his helmet on, honestly.
That would make sense.
I
They
do
should have had
agree.
it on because they were about to escape.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Right.
it's like the
Full
never ending.
defense
Like
mode.
it's like me with my family. We're trying to pack up and go on vacation. It's like 6 days of like loading up to get out of there. It's like, come on, Bad Batch. It's like it was like Thrawn and
relate.
Ahsoka loading up all the things. Like 12 more hours, 11 hours and 59 more minutes. Like Ahsoka's like
Hashtag not
riding
my
across
Thrawn.
the field with them.
Yes.
And you're just like, throw more darts at them. You know, I'm sorry, we're going back there, but it just felt
No,
like,
it's fine. Keep
plot
doing it. I love it.
convenience. And then Wrecker, like they're like, well, if Wrecker's here, he could actually take out Scorch. Maybe like, no, we got to knock him out. So take his helmet off and blow up the ship. Now their ship's dead, though. Isn't that like their ship?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was the
Yeah,
Marauder.
that's the
That was a Marauder,
It's
dude.
dead.
We just lost a character in the show.
No, it's just like Mando when
Why
they
does Disney Star Wars like
I don't
blowing up
know.
ships now?
They just get rid of all the cool ships.
Yeah,
And then
those-
replace them with less cool ships.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
That's what I was hoping he would. Hunter would be cool and steal the ship of the.
Yeah,
The
it would have made
assassin
sense if he
guy.
would have
He's like,
taken a
oh.
left instead of a right. He
Like
would
he
have gone right
swims
to the
up
enemy
onto
ship.
the cave and he's like, "Oh my goodness, there's a ship!" And then he steals the ship. Then they get the data, they get the whatevers. He
'Cause-
finds out his tech, and then they get over. You know,
Because it's not like we haven't seen the Bad Batch do that kind of stuff before. They've gone up against unsurmountable odds in the past. And that's what they were made to do, was to
Yeah.
be the Bad Batch and get in and out of situations that no other clone group or commando group could. So
They're
like,
doing great.
so they like built you up for that, and then they were like, no, they all suck. You're like, dang it all, what the crap? But also, I did want to touch. I know you talked about dialogue. There was one I wanted to make sure. I wanted to see if we were on the same one here, Leah. There's one where they said, or there was like some chick, and she was like, "Oh, good girl, betcha." I was like, who just walked in and said that line? Like, why do they need to put that line even in there?
Yeah.
Was it that one,
Yes.
Leah, or was it not that one at all? It was the other
It
one.
was
you
that
talked about.
one. It was so
That one
pointless.
definitely. I'm like sitting there. I'm like, did they just get some random wife of the tree number 3 to walk in and do her worst British accent? But it was only on the last word that she applied the accent because I'm actually recording something.
She was going for a Princess Leia one in episode 4.
She was trying. She's like, good girl, Batcha. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it
I
felt
guess,
so out of
you know?
place. I was like,
I-
they
I
really
guess.
took the time to record that and put that in the show. They're definitely
They
patting
could have
them
at least
on time.
grabbed somebody who actually knew how to do a British accent. There's plenty of people who can do a successful one. Leah does a great one. They should have just snatched her.
Yeah,
Come on,
Yes.
guys.
yes, for sure.
I want to talk about that now. So let's
Yeah,
close this
I
up.
think we need
Let's close
to.
this
Yeah,
chapter.
We do need to. We got
It's
a
a
lot
segue.
more to get to tonight. So we've been talking for a long time, but those are our thoughts on Bad Batch season 3, episode 10 and 11. What you guys think of these episodes? Are we right on the money? Are we way off the deep end? Have we completely gone to the dark side? Is there any hope for Star Wars left? I don't know. Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you.